Patriots. I'm Lee Watts, and this is Patriot Point, your source for news and information from a conservative, Christian, and common sense point of view. And I had to start adding a constitutional point of view, and we'll talk about more of that as the program goes on. Well, this week we've got trouble right here in the United States. It kind of reminds me of that old song from the show The Music Man.
Oh, we got trouble. We're in terrible, terrible trouble. We got trouble, trouble, trouble. With a T. Gotta rhyme it with P. It stands for pool. Remember, my friends, listen to me because I passed this way but once.
Yes, we have got trouble right here in the United States. There is a major attack upon free speech and the First Amendment to the Constitution. It is being pushed hard and heavy by the left. And before today's program is over, I'm going to give you some very shocking news about a Kentucky politician who is pushing to increase government censorship of what you are allowed to post online. And this really ought to make you mad that this, first of all, is happening at all, but that there's a Kentucky politician pushing for more government censorship. Just in the last week or so, there's been this industry called Babylon Bee that is a Christian conservative organization. It uses satire to talk about different political events. It has been banned by Twitter because of what it calls disinformation. It's satire, people. This is supposed to be using humor to get a point across. Who else has been banned in the last week or so? Tucker Carlson from Fox News. Why? Because he is putting out what they have decided is misinformation. Who else has been banned? Charlie Kirk, radio host and the co-founder of Turning Point USA, a wonderful conservative organization, again for putting out what they call as misinformation. And we got trouble with these different big tech companies, these leftists that are all saying, well, they're going to be the ultimate deciders of what is true and what is allowed. And they're not putting out truth, they're just putting out their opinion and banning anybody else's. Let me actually give you a direct quote from the CEO of Twitter on this. This is from the new Twitter CEO, Parag Agrawal. Please forgive me if I've mispronounced that. That would be by accident. This is what he said, word for word. Our role is not to be bound by the First Amendment, focusing less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how the times have changed. So here you have the new CEO of Twitter literally coming out and saying, we don't care about the First Amendment. I don't care about free speech. Times have changed, and we're going to ban any of you conservatives who says anything that we do not approve of, and they'll just label it disinformation. They'll label it hate speech. The left is very keen on throwing labels on anything that they want to try to change what is going on. But you know who still does have Twitter accounts? I'll tell you, since you ask, I looked it up as late as March of this year. The Taliban still has a Twitter account. Note this headline from The Hill magazine. They say, strikingly sophisticated Taliban thrive on Twitter while Trump still banned. I looked up, see Putin, if he still had a Twitter account. As late as early this month, Putin, the great invader of Ukraine, still had a Twitter account. That was perfectly fine. And we're seeing that conservatives are being banned not only on Twitter, they're also being banned on YouTube, on Facebook. For those of you who follow the program here, Patriot Point, you'll notice I'll be banned 2 or 3 weeks at a time by YouTube for talking about conservative causes. Also on Facebook. Both Facebook and YouTube have gone, they're not even hiding it. They have gone so far as to send me a notification telling me outright, we are shadow banning you. Shadow banning is when they say, even though people have registered for your channel or your page, we're not going to send it to them. And they're just sending me messages, letting me know that they're doing this, and say, hey, if you do anything else, we may just ban your channel like they banned President Trump forever. Really considering all their threats a badge of honor. If you are a Facebook creator or YouTube creator and you haven't been banned by YouTube or Facebook, You haven't been trying. Well, we've definitely been trying. That's one of the reasons I highly encourage you to send me your email address and ask to be put on the Patriot Point direct email list. Every week, I will send you a direct link where you can watch the videos on other video services if YouTube does eventually ban the entire channel for life, which really, it's simply a matter of time. Great attacks upon free speech. I'm running for Congress. If I can get in Congress, I'm going to tell you one of the first things I want to do is I want to go after these big tech companies and say, how dare you have the audacity to try to hinder the free speech of the American people. So that's something I want to do. Now let's talk about who's really pushing this idea that there should be more censorship and there should be less free speech. Well, I'll show you exactly who's doing that, since you asked. It's coming from the Democratic supporters, the Democratic Party. Here you have information from the Washington Examiner, a Pew Research poll, and the Democrats and Republicans were both asked, do you think the government should be censoring free speech online? The Democrats said 65% yes. That is a 25% increase from 2018. Now, the Republicans, only 28% said yes, and that's actually decreasing. Less and less of them think that they should. It's a 9% decrease from the 2018 survey. And then what about these big tech companies like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook? 76% of Democrats say that big tech should be censoring your free speech online. That is an increase of 16%. The Republicans, again, the opposite. They want more free speech. 37% said yes, a decrease of 11%. I love to use history when we're talking about current events. Let us learn the lessons of history and get wisdom from that. I want to give you a quote now from Benjamin Franklin on the topic of free speech. Notice what Franklin said. Freedom of speech is a principal pillar of a free government. When this support is taken away, the constitution of a free society is dissolved and tyranny is erected on its ruins. Notice what he says, when support for this is taken away, what's going to happen? You're going to have freedom go away and tyranny is going to replace it, which is exactly what we are seeing now, wisdom of the founding fathers affecting what is going on. So the big tech companies are doing this. We see the left is pushing for the government to do it. And that leads us to our last thing today. A Kentucky politician has written a measure for the government to start censoring what you are allowed to post online and what kind of websites you're allowed to have. What Kentucky politician is this? Well, since you asked, it is Kentucky Congressman Brett Guthrie. Yes, it is him. Surprise, surprise, my opponent in the Republican primary for Congress. This is yet another reason why I'm running against this guy. Brett Guthrie has written House Resolution 6937, and it's talking about online dangers. And it says we should ban certain things and the government should set up and build software to immediately, automatically ban certain things. And some of the stuff would be bad, but notice what he includes in this. In addition to the bad stuff, he also says they want to ban, quote, terrorists. Now remember, the school boards and the Biden administration have labeled all of these parents who don't like what the school boards are doing, they've labeled them domestic terrorists. And a lot of us conservatives, because we don't like what the government's doing, are called domestic terrorists. And notice what you would automatically be banned from doing in Brett Guthrie's bill. This would you not be allowed to promote themselves. That's literally word for word what it says. If they define you as this, you cannot promote yourselves. I guess that would include anybody trying to run for office if they're on this list. You're not allowed to, quote, share propaganda. So if those in charge decide, we don't like what you're saying, we decide that's propaganda, you are banned from having that on a website. It's automatically deleted from your personal social media post. It also, this is what Guthrie's doing, he wants to ban where it has disinformation campaigns. Well, remember that Charlie Kirk and the Babylon Bee and Tucker Carlson, they've all been banned for, quote, disinformation. It's anything that the left is pushing that the government wants and they don't want anybody to say anything different. and also automatically ban individuals to influence the United States elections. So I'm doing a whole lot to try to influence an election. YouTube, the YouTube channel I've created, Patriot Point, has done a great deal of work in the last 2 years trying to influence our elections, get people informed and involved. If this can go through, this measure that he's written, automatically deleted, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm running against this guy. Oh, and I have a long list of reasons, and I will be giving them over and over again from now until Election Day on May the 17th. If you would like to get rid of this guy, I mean, he has been a career politician since the 1990s. I mean, I had hair back in the 1990s, so it's been that long ago. If you would like to help the campaign, we're going to be having some campaign volunteer events. Great ways for you to get plugged in, lots of ways to help. We're going to have 3 different ones coming up. You'll see on March the 28th, we're going to be in Bowling Green. On March the 30th, we're having an event in Radcliffe, Kentucky, right next to Elizabethtown. And then on April the 1st, we're going to be in Owensboro, Kentucky. 3 great opportunities if you want to get informed and involved in getting out the rhino and putting a patriot in place of the career politician. If you can make the events, great, but if you can or not, I hope that you'll donate to the campaign, help us get word out, because I can tell you the other guy is pushing out all kinds of disinformation that we're going to try to correct on things, but hey, that's free speech, and we're going to try to get it out there. I hope that you'll visit the website, LeeWattsKentucky.com. If you'd like to learn more about the campaign or how you can give, go out there and enjoy your free speech this week. So until next week, I'm Lee Watts for Patriot Point, reminding you that liberty is not a spectator sport.